see how a person can easily spend a lot of time in here. Easily. Yeah.
And welcome back. You're through to genesisradio.co.uk and you are tuned into Metaphysical Minds, the real Eminem show. I welcome you all. Greetings. And like I said, we have a very, very young man, big young man in the studio joining us here. And like I said earlier on, it's really been a pleasure being in, to get to, mingle and gel with this brother, because he's a brother doing serious works out there. So we have to give thanks, you understand? And I've let you know who he is. We're going to be speaking about what he's about, what he's doing, what he's here doing in London, you understand? So it's a real good morning. Make sure you get your texts coming in. I can see they're flying in already. And based on the texts that were sent earlier on, I will be reading those out, and I'll be asking, answering some of the texts, and I'll be bringing in also the guest as well. So without further ado, I have brother Azzaziel Bey in the house with his queen
Majade.
Majade. We have brother Azzaziel Bey and Queen Majade in the studio. So brother Azzaziel, what do you have to tell the people?
Well, first I want to say Hotep, and it's really good to be back in Europe. I haven't been in Europe for about 30 years. I was in Germany about 30 years ago. Very interesting, and it reminds me a lot of New York, brother. Oh. Especially when I look up at the sky. When I look up at the sky and I see all those chemtrails, I felt right at home. I said, wow, they're putting up a frequency fence, to block the thoughts or the cosmic energy from coming in, because they know what time. They've been doing this for almost 10 years now, putting up this particular frequency fence. And what it does is it stops the cosmic, or what we call tachyon force and orgone energy from emitting, from coming through the atmosphere. And this will cause you to, your thoughts that are already on the planet to generate, whereas we would receive cosmic energies also, you see, as above, so below. So, but we reach inside our pineal gland within, so there's always a portal, there's always a way to deal with that. But yes, brother, I'm glad to be here. Brother Israel, who's doing a great work. Please support the brother, and brother Darren, and the sister
Rosanna.
Sister Rosanna.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because they're doing a great work. So we're here. We're going to take, I believe we're going to take questions, are we, brother?
Oh, yeah.
From the audience. My queen, she wants to do her little bit of poetry, so I said I'd let her do it. Okay, so open up your ears and your heart and your mind.
And other things.
Okay. Give thanks for that. Like I said, man, wonderful personality. And like I said, I've been with the brother and his queen the last couple of days, and it's been a pleasure, seriously, to be in your in your presence. Just for the people, because I know they're going to be calling. I've got a couple of texts here. Some of them were sent before you guys arrived, but we're going to be reading them out anyway, and what the people have got questions. They want to know what to do and where we at and what's happening and so on and so forth. Could you just give the people out there just a brief introduction of what you're about, what is it you do, and what you're doing here in London? Most of them know, but it's nice to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Right. Well, I am an occultist, and I guess I was born that way. Most of us were.
Yep.
We just didn't. It wasn't activated. It got activated at a certain time and point in our life. When things happen in your life and you want to do something about it and move away from the negativity, which is what we in New York we call 9 to 5. Working for the slave master. You know, we want to get away from that. Slavery was supposed to have been over in England, and I think the 1700s and then 1800s in America. But yet we still have that slave mindset based on Willie Lynch programming. So what I do is I attack. That's mainly what my job is. I'm an aggressor. That's what I am against my enemy, and that is to uplift the souls of my people. And when I say that in the sense that we all have a collective. If you watch Star Trek, they have something called the Borg. We are all connected as a race of people. We are connected, and you know, there was a time when I would say, well, this person ain't functioning on that frequency, this was not on that frequency, and so we don't want to deal with that. But there's still your people that have an effect on your life. They have an effect on your life. So everything is connected. And so that's what I do.
Give thanks for that, brother. And since we have your queen, well, you're going to be reading out some poetry anyway. Are you ready to come in now?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I'm
okay, then. All right, then. Well, let's bring you in, and you can say, you know, a warm welcome to the Genesis listeners.
Okay. Welcome, peace. Thank you so much for listening. I'm having such a great time here in London. I hope I bring that accent back home with me.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to do this real quick and get it over with so you guys can, you know, just enjoy it. But I just want every listener, especially the female listeners, to know that we possess a certain type of voodoo. What I'm here to do right now is tell you about the voodoo that I do. I am going to take your photo, cut the face portion off, and place it face up in the crotch of my panties, casting that spell that makes you hot as hell as you stare into my eyes while you continuously nod your head between my thighs. On the 28th day, I am going to wear my black eyeshadow, my black lipstick, my black nail polish, and that black dress, for it brings out that true black goddess, as I scribble your name with black ink on a black candle, which is placed on a black cloth, surrounded by black rose petals, while the black moon looks on. Space seems to be your designated place as you stare into my face. Float on, baby. You are now in love with this lady. Drinking wine all of the time, all of your refills were from my behind. My tampon squeezed like a plump lemon into your drink. Just think of all the times that we wined and dined. Our ritual, my menstrual. Your nose has been open wide. Your heart cannot hide, and your soul cannot deny, as I slide and glide into your every pore to explore and get to the core of exactly what you stand for. You see, I am your get high. I am your vibe. I am that extra skip in your stride. I am that velvety melanated thorns of black rose that never withers but flows and grows to you, through you. You see, listeners, it's all about you, because I got you with that voodoo that I do. Peace.
Wonderful, wonderful. I told you, Genesis, man, we're not playing here. Real deal science. You heard sister there giving you the poetry, giving you the art. See, these are the things that we need to get back to. You understand? And I know some of you are listening, oh, what's all that? That sounds a bit sexual. And well, how do you think you got here? if there's any other channel, you got free. Okay, fair enough, test tube babies, but that's not the right channel. You understand? That's the way you got here. I know your mom and dad somewhere were making love, and that's it. I've been telling you for eons, sexual energy is the most powerful energy in the universe. The masculine and feminine energies come together, uniting, becoming one. You understand? So that's the way it goes. Okay, the texts are coming in. Let me read out the studio number. If I believe the live link is on, you could give it a call just to test things out. But the studio number is 07931276232. I repeat, 07931276232. Okay, if you wish to join us in the chat room, please feel free to do so. Log on www.genesisradio.com. All right, Brother Azzaziel, you said you're an occultist. I consider myself definitely a student of occultism at the least, and I've been, been bringing this occult information to the people. I know you definitely, you're a master at this, so I definitely come before you as a humble student, and I've been trying to tell them, because I know the importance, of occultism and its ancient sciences, and to enable the people to know that the word occult first of all means hidden. You understand? But I was even speaking on it roughly earlier today. Of you heard the way we hear the way hidden, but then we have to get into what is it that is hidden, because obviously something that is hidden. You understand? So we have to get into that. Could you tell the people out there, the listeners, what is it that it is hidden that needs to be brought to the forefront, and what it means to our people?
Very good question, brother.
Thank you.
When we talk about the hidden side of things, what we're talking about, what we learned as a child, when your mother turned the lights off and you have to go to bed and you get scared of the dark. Most people are afraid of the dark because what it actually means is they're afraid of the unknown. And that's what the occult actually is. In the early to mid 90s in New York, when we looked for occult information, it was masked, or Egyptian information or any historic information was masked in the occult section. And so we trained or programmed not to go into that section because it scares you off and you miss all your history. So that's what that's all about. But I want to go back with the brother talked about earlier with the sexual energy, which we're going to be talking about that tonight, Sex Magic 3. So make sure you're there at 7 o'clock. What's the address, brother?
Yeah. The address is 160 Page Green Terrace, High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4UN.
Okay. Sexual energy. I don't know how many of you have heard of orgone energy. Orgone energy is sexual, it's orgasmic, and orgone energy is original. It is the original energy on the planet. It's organic and it's original. That is the most powerful energy you can tap into. It's natural and it's procreative. It's something everything does. And that's what, when you look at the pyramids of Giza, it's 3 points when you're looking at the face in a one-dimensional sense. It's 3 points, mother, father, which projects up to the point of the pyramid, which projects out the child. So we have a hang-up, we've been taught hang-ups about sexuality, and this is where many of our problems come from. And so we need to be open about it. Be open about it and discuss these things. We have children, we have teenagers that we may raise without even talking to them about sex whatsoever. And that's most of us. Most of our parents, most of our children don't learn anything about sex from the household. They'll learn it out in the street the best way they can, from brothers talking to them, yo, I had that, I did this, or whatever, a sister the same way. So we need to be serious about our sexuality and find out what that's all about and be open about it. And I would advise you, I have some very important information that we're going to talk about this evening on sexuality. But orgone energy, sexual energy, is a creative force and is an energy that a weapon, you could use as a weapon that was afforded you through these cosmic energies.
Give thanks for that, brother. I hope you are listening. If you do have any questions for Brother Azzaziel Bey or his queen, feel free to text the number 07931276232. I repeat, 07931276232. Please forgive me on that. Brother Azzaziel Bey, what is some of the things, I know you just discussed it now based on sexual magic, what is some of the things that we could expect from you? Not so much, even like now as far as today with the lecture today, but in the future, where do you would like to steer the consciousness of our people, of humanity? Where would you like to see it maybe 12 months from now, a year from now? I'm not saying that maybe predict what's going to happen, but as far as this is where you would like to gear the consciousness, could you give us a little, bit of where you would like to see it going?
Well, first of all, the reason for doing what I'm doing is because we get upset about what goes on in our life and want to take care of it. But many of us have relatives that we're raising in this society. And by you educating your youth or the younger folks or even yourself, not only your vibration changes, your auric field enhances and grows bigger, and you pass off this information to others just by what your presence. A person's presence can fill a room. And so we want to educate and bring this utopia that we once had in the mind back. Honestly, to be raw, I want to get the beast off the planet, number one. And the way you could do that is through your sexual energy. That is the most positive force in the universe. There's nothing more powerful. You have two great forces in the universe called, one is a sun and one is a black hole. And of course we know the sun emits energy and black holes absorb it. That's sexual. That's sexual. So men are considered the sun and females are considered the black hole. And that's what they have between their legs. So we want to see the rise, because it's inevitable anyway. It's inevitable. So I just want to be a part of that process. I'm only here to experience that process. We all chose this particular so-called end time, which there is no end time. There is no 2012. 2012 is the end of the European calendar. Black man and black woman, you're sitting here listening to this radio show, you have no beginning and you have no end. You are the god and goddesses, the goddesses of the planet, of the universe. Man, you are eternity. Female, you are infinity. Those are the names of the goddesses, and that's who you are.
Give thanks, brother. Wonderful, wonderful answer. Now, I've got a text here I'm going to be reading out. Earlier on, I was just speaking about on how over here a lot of our sisters, go into the hospitals, give birth to the children in the hospitals. Yesterday at the lecture on the Ghost Wars and the Moorish history, you was talking about basically about when we have children in the hospitals, they whisk off the child to another room and inject or chip up our children. And I was touching on about earlier on about the sisters should be having home births. You understand? Having home births, having the family around them, you understand? Even though it might be a midwife that's coming there to come and deliver the child, but having, being in a pleasurable, environment instead of going to these, I don't know how it is over there in your part, I'm sure it's the same, but in the hospitals over here, you go to the rooms where, the sisters give birth. It's real cold, very hostile kind of place. You understand? And they have our sisters lie down on these beds, and the bed itself looks like a place of torture. It looks, seriously, it looks like, if I was being shot to death, I wouldn't want to lie there because it just looked like a place of torture, And these are the places where our sisters are giving birth to the children, and I was speaking about the chips. So we've got a text here which says, can you explain about the chip? Because the person says, I still don't, understand as far as, how they're chipping, our children and so on and so forth, and other things on which they're doing. Another thing over here which they do now is, I know a lot of brothers are becoming conscious. A very good friend of mine, his queen had a child a few years back, and I do recall when he was with the child, he made sure he stayed with the child, so nothing happened, there was no injections taken, and then the nurses and the midwives was coming to him and saying, oh look, I think you should let the child have this injection because internal bleeding, and take some vitamin K, and they were really pushing, they were kind of really on him, and he kind of said, look, thanks for what you did or whatever. He took his queen and the child, got out of the hospital as quick as possible, but I'm talking like the next day, they had nurses and midwives knocking on his door, and they seemed like they were, it's not they seemed, they were literally, it's like she didn't want to have no conversation with the brother. It's like, you're not out of the picture. She wants to go to the sister, because she knows obviously there's a bond between the female and the child, and she has that emotional connection, and she, if anything possible, obviously, to save or look after the child. And she was like, I think it's necessary that, you should, and at one point she was even suggested that the sister there may be some abuse. She was like, is he bullying you? Is he being, is he forcing you to say these things and do this? You know what I'm trying to say, to try and get that mind control so that they can, they can have, be able to give the child the injection. You understand? So could you speak about you know, the injection of how they're chipping up our children and doing all kind of things. You know, it's like you were saying earlier on, they're spraying the airs, and you know, warfare it's real deal business. They mean business.
We're definitely at war.
You know, so could you elaborate for the people and let them know what it is that we, you know, it's at hand?
Sure. The brother's right. When you, first of all, injections, that's not a natural process of healing. Injections, what they do, most of them are time released, meaning that you can have an injection of some kind of serum or potion as a child in a hospital, and 40 years later it appears in the form of a sickness. Now, as I said last night, if you have been to a hospital and had lupus or caught lupus at some point in time afterwards, that is a breast implant. Most of the implants they're doing today is dealing with nanotechnology, meaning that they can put it in a needle now. That's the technology that's gone that far. These are miniature robots that go around your bloodstream and build fiber optic wires to create a new nervous system. And that nervous system goes to, those fiber optic wires go to key points and key meridians in your body. And the main meridians that they function on is the spinal cord, the breast, the vagina, the clitoris, the head of the penis, and the anus. And because these are major points in sexuality that can open you up. And so once they implant you, they're preparing you, and besides that, when the child is born, they prefer cesarean section or some type of birth where the child has some type of shock to it. So, and then they even have in utero shock treatment that they perform on you with different kinds of drugs that recommend you take this while you're pregnant, and so on and so on. And so this is a form of control. This is, the more cameras you see going up, the more implants are being implanted. It works hand in hand. The implants are able to receive transmission from plasma TVs, and transmissions from computers, and all electronics made after the 90s. So what the implants are doing is preparing you to be open for the mind control. And so now they'll flash television commercials with all kind of colors and all these different things, and you're open to it because you've been implanted. And anyone born, I would say, in a hospital after 1970 has an implant. But what you can do is, if you come to the workshop on Sunday, I'm going to give you techniques to block some of the mind control that may be coming in and deactivate the implants. One way to deactivate an implant is just by standing by a satellite dish. That will, if you think a transmission is coming into you, and if you feel stimulated sexually for no apparent reason, that is electronic. That is dealing with ELF, which is extremely low frequencies. And that is, extreme low frequencies is dealing with, in the occult, is dealing with the demon level. Those are demons. And those are negative energies. But what we're going to do is talk about that a little later at the workshop and at the lecture.
Thank you very much, brother. I hope you heard what the brother just said. Anybody born after the 70s, you said? 70s is well, I'm a 71 child.
Well, I was leaving a little leeway for you. I was leaving just a little leeway for that, but I actually think it's earlier, somewhere around the 60s, when they used to show you nature programs when they go catch the animals and clip them to track them. Right. Those were tests. Those were all tests showing you right on TV the tests they were running just to do for the animals. The next stage was us. So I would actually go back to the 60s, but I'm not sure about that. So I would definitely say the 70s because I'm positive about that.
See, so for those of you who were born in, my generation and, coming all the way through. See, so 71, that would make me chip too. But you know what? I'm into the occult. I'm a voodoo child. So that shit is long gone. That's out of my system. I'm a occultist to the sole of my boots. So ain't no chip here. We won't survive. Will not survive. But based on what the brother's saying, today, Brother Azzaziel Bey, like I said, he's doing a series of lectures. He did one yesterday. If you missed that, do catch it when it does come out on the DVD. Today, he's going to be doing a lecture based on Sex Magic Part 3. If you are asking about Part 1 and Part 2, he's already done them. and you can get them at your local sisters or brothers who sell the conscious DVDs, information DVDs. You go check them. I'm pretty sure they will have them. But otherwise, I'm pretty sure you have seen them. So today he's doing Sex Magic Part 3, and he's going to be dealing with some heavy duty stuff. So please make it down there today. The address is 160 Page Green Terrace, High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NU. Okay, the time is 7 o'clock, and we're going to take it right through to 10. Probably go on a bit after, question and answers. You understand? He's got the overhead projector, so he's showing you images, so he's letting you know what's what the real deal is. Tomorrow he's doing it's kind of like a workshop, mind control and deprogramming techniques tomorrow. It is somewhat sold out, but I will be giving out the number later on that you can contact to see whether we can squeeze a few more people, because I mean, you did say that you just want a handful of people. It's a serious.
Well, no, if you could get people in and they want to come and they're interested, if you can get them in the room, then let them come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you hear that? So Brother Azzaziel Bey, he's spoken. He says let him in. So we'll continue to let you in. Hey, both should. Okay, I'm taking both as the male and the female. Both should rub the belly, the sister's belly, and bond with the child before the baby comes into the world. Peace. That's coming from 078. That is very, very true, and even based on that, because brother, I know you spoke roughly about that yesterday, about how they can traumatize the child within. So could you, like elaborate to the people on what's going on in that region, and how important it is when our sisters are pregnant with our children, what the necessary thing to do.
Okay. One of the things that I found out that for unborn children is that the presence of the father in the area and hearing the child hears, because children in the womb can hear everything you say, and they remember most of what you say and do. So they're very open and very psychic. There's a cartoon called The Silver Surfer, and if you watch The Silver Surfer, there are these people in there called the Watchers. And I'm going to talk about that tonight because I have a slide on this. They have these gigantic heads. They look almost like babies, but they're ancient people and they're watchers. And that's what babies are. They're watchers from the womb. So the presence of the father, and statistically, in the household, talking and touching and the baby hearing that, creates a stronger immune system, a stronger mind, and just a more powerful child. And that is very, very important. Of course, the female is the carrier. So she's always around the child. She's always taking care of it. And the emotional level, there's an emotional state. Fathers or dads out there, if you have a wife that's about to give birth, you want to keep her happy because you don't want the certain chemicals to be released from the brain that's based on anger or fear. You want to make sure she's happy, that she has everything she wants. Brothers, and that's what you are, the provider and the protector. But to produce a very strong-minded child, healthy child, the presence of the father, the voice of the father as he talks and converses, the child hears that, retains that, and he will have more love for his father and his parents.
Give thanks for that. I hope you're all taking notes, you're recording the show, and so on and so forth. If you wish to join us in the chat room, please feel free to do so. genesisradio.co.uk. The studio number is 07931276232. I repeat, 07931276232. I got a few more texts here. What's this one? Can you let me know where to get the background music, please? Okay. Oh, you like that, do you? Okay. The background music which I'm playing right now is it's a CD. It's called Little Wolf. It's the Native American music and drums and so on and so forth. And the title of the album is called Dream Song. You understand? It's wonderful. I have a very strong connection as far as the Native American music, so I always kind of use it in my background, or I'll play some fella, either one of the two. Those of you tuning to my stage shows know. So it's called Little Wolf, and it's called Dream Song. Okay, what's this text saying? Greetings, Israel. Is the show being recorded? That's from 284. Yes, the show is recorded. You should be recording it as well. Okay. Oh, good morning. The soundbite that you just played is taken from Killer Priest's album Heavy Mental. Okay. But my question is, which movie is that particular clip from initially? M from Brixton. Okay. Okay, loving the show. Okay, 082. Do you know, brother, that clip?
All I know is I like Killer Priest.
We don't know, but I'll try and get that for you, 082, of where, you know, which clip the movie is from. Okay, keep your texts coming if you wish to call. I believe the live link is on. If there's any questions which you wanna ask, Azzaziel Bey, please feel free to text in or call in. Brother Azzaziel, as far as occult is concerned, you know, and these are sciences and arts that our ancestors were obviously deeply rooted in, and this is how they managed to accomplish, obviously, the things which they accomplished. And obviously we've lost that. It's been taken away from us.
Oh, I wouldn't really say we lost it. I wouldn't really say that we have lost that.
Oh yeah.
I would say that it's inactive.
Oh, okay.
It's inactive. Okay. You are the occult. You're walking the occult. That's what you are by nature.
Okay.
When a beautiful sister such as my wife will walk down the street and her buttocks is up and down, massaging her ovaries, that's voodoo. That's voodoo. So you're voodoo by nature. That's what you are. So don't be afraid of yourself.
Yeah.
It's the voodoo.
Wonderful. That's it. Voodoo child. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, based on that, could you tell the people of how to incorporate? Give them like a little brief, like of how to kind of incorporate certain maybe simple, basic, you know, occultic practices, maybe things we take for granted that we just not, you know, right. Because some of us may even be doing certain things, their nature, but not realizing that that's what it is, you know. So if you could just point to one or two things to let the people understand or understand what occult is, certain aspects of it.
Right. Every place me and my queen go to, and the white boy, they look at her and they look at her hair, they automatically go goddess. So sisters, one thing you want to do is you want to get the straight hair out of your head. You want to get the conch out of your head. You want to get the dreads going on. Brothers, the cultural, what it is you want to learn more about your past history. And that will activate that part of you that is hidden. Remember, the cult means hidden. You have a hidden side to yourself and it's inactive. So it's basically based on how much you, or how willing you are to study your own history of who you are. We were scientists. When two people wanted to get married, and they were young teenagers in Africa who wanted to get married, you bring them, you strip them naked, you bring them before the elders, and we would analyze their body types and body shapes and how you know, would this person fit that person. And by the way, that's what we're going to be talking about, because we want to kind of, I want to teach people how to find the right lover. Who is the right person for you? How to look at body types, how to look at facial features and know if that's the right person from you. Now, in the occult bookstores, that would be what? Voodoo. That would be occult stuff, to look at someone and be able to tell the symbology of their face or their actions. And so these are things that, you know, you could go into a court of law and they're picking out a jury for, I don't know if they have jury duty and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And when they look at the jury that they want to pick out, guess what they're doing? They're sizing you up. Not only mentally, but physically with the features and all that. So voodoo is a natural, it's a word that came from a Moorish pirate named Vodun. So it's you as part of your nature.
Give thanks, give thanks. I hope you're all taking notes. I'm going to read out the number again. Keep the calls coming. There ain't been one yet, but there's been texts. 07931276233. 07931276232. If you have any questions in regards to Azzaziel Bey, certain things he's done, things he's going to be doing based on the lecture tonight. He's doing a lecture tonight based on Sex Magic Part 3. Be sure to make it down. Admissions is £10. We start 7 till 10. Address 160 Page Green Terrace, High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NU. It's right next to also south. If you're not driving, you're coming way of London Transport, British Transport, you can come by way of train. You can get off at South Tottenham Rail Station. It's right next to South Tottenham Rail Station. It's a place called Happy People's Restaurant. Feel free to come. We had a nice group of people came yesterday. I give love, thanks for your support, ancestral guidance to you all, and hopefully you can make it this evening. We'll be going on to, you know, some big and deep stuff based on sexual magic. You understand? A lot of you are very, you want to know about the real science, the real deal science behind sex. And I know a lot of you thinking, just because you have a child, that doesn't mean that you know about sex. You understand? That goes for the man and the woman. Doesn't mean you know about sex. So some of you may be out there thinking, well, I got 3 children. What can he tell me about sex? That means nothing. You understand? That just means that you had sex and you got pregnant. You need to know the science of what is happening behind the scenes. You understand? So, you know, it's kind of like you see a movie, you don't know what went in, what effort the director and the writer and the actors putting in from behind the scenes. You just see what's up front. You understand? So just because you watch a movie doesn't make you a director. You understand? So, Brother Azzaziel,
Yeah.
could you please, I know you're a brother who's very learned in the Moorish history, could you please tell the people, because a lot of us over here, I feel that's a part that is definitely needs to be erected based on the Moorish.
Right.
A lot of people have heard the word flying about, they don't know the depths of it and what our ancestors, the Moors, what they did and what they contributed to this society and to other countries within the West, Europe, Africa, all over the world. You understand? So could you please give not so much a rude breakdown, but just give them, you know, certain things, mentioning certain things in which they did, what they were about, and the sciences and arts.
Thank you, brother. Yeah. Honestly, the word Moor just means black man. That's what Moor actually means. Today we attribute it to some type of sovereignty or joining some type of group, and that's all good. But basically, if you have that dark brown skin, or not even the dark brown skin, the kinky hair is what it is. The kinky hair makes you a Moor, and that's what's going on there. Historically speaking, we are the educators of the planet. Most of the sciences were carried out throughout the world by the Moors. The Garamantes from North Africa walked into Europe and created this place called Germany. As well as all the other places where the Moors have trained and cleaned people up. Get the movie Perfume is one good movie to show you how the European lived before the Moors got there. But we walked from Africa into Europe, and one of the places where, after we landed in Germany, the word Garamanti became Germany. The Germans, the Moors and the Germans migrated all the way into France and into England and so on and so forth. What's interesting is when they migrated into France and started mixing, the Germans and the Moors and the French started mixing together, this created a golem known as Frankenstein. This is the origin of Frankenstein. It comes from the mixing of the races in France. Dealing with the Franks. The Franks and of course the Steins we know is Jewish German surname. So we had a mixture of that, and that created later on produced by the Illuminati in a book written by one of the Illuminati program sleepers named Mary Shelley. Wrote a whole story on that based on this Jewish golem who is the Frankenstein, and then the Jews keep that golem up as a protection symbol to this very day. But the Moors were very, very instrumental in educating the entire world You have Alexander Pushkin, who a statue was erected in Washington, D.C. about 10 years ago, or maybe less, who was the person who actually gave the Russians their actual language. This was a black man named Alexander Pushkin. Gave them their language. They didn't know how to fucking speak. And they gave them a way to communicate with each other. He's very famous in Russia today. He's like the god of Russia. Then you have the whole language of Latin, from which we get Spanish, comes from Tertullian. Tertullian was a black man from North Africa who came up with the language of Latin, which is the language of law. And that's why Latin is used in the courts of law. This is coming down from the Moors. Okay, so without elaborating too far into the history.
Yeah, great, wonderful history based on the Moors. I've got, sister, you're going to be called back in because in the chat room we've got Dave who said, nice poem. Can you say it again? It had me spellbound. Now, sis, you see, that's the power of the sisters, man. I'm telling you, this is the real deal. You only get it here live on genesisradio.co.uk. And then I've got another text saying, please can we hear another poem from the sister, Peace D. Give thanks, D. So, you gonna do it now, or you want to? Yeah. Okay, then we're gonna bring in the sister. She's gonna give us a lovely, wonderful poem again. Keep the texts coming.
Yeah, keep it coming. This particular one is called Mind Over Body. Mind over body is not a theory. It is a fact. There is a method to my madness, and a madness to the fact. You see, I possess that key to unlock my history and free my mind of all those lies that were told to me. I could rid society of sicknesses, diseases. This is mind over body. You see, all that stillness that surrounds you is your energy. It's also the air you breathe, the food you eat, the people you meet, the fine little tiny elements you see. It is your destiny. Are y'all listening to me? Because when you meditate, everything starts to make sense. That sweet, sweet smell of the mirth mixed with the frankincense. The easiness and the essence in your existence, I'm talking about your soul, wow! That you control. So, my brother, was it the black hole that you went thrusting into? Or was it me, my jade, sucking the brain fluids out of you? Mind over body. Do you all over enter and understand that as a conscious woman, I could rule this land? So I'm just gonna go on ahead and give myself a hand. Hey! Fuck the unconscious judgmental man. You see, because what he don't understand is that what he needs to do is, hello, talk to my hand. Because his energy is just a little bit too negative for me. And sisters, before you go rush into that bottomless pit, shit, chill for a minute and say to yourself, is it really worth it to be in it? Mind over body. The mind, y'all, is such a terrible, terrible thing to waste.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm telling you, man, this is, hey, I didn't even know this was gonna happen like this. I'm telling you, see? So I was laying out my tarot cards this morning and I got the magician and the high priestess, and that was her. She's the high priestess. Now I know who the high priestess is. It's the sister here, you understand? So are you, sister, do you have a CD? Because, you know, poetry like this, we definitely don't have it over here. It's definitely not on mainstream. You understand? And you know, no disrespect to yourself, it probably won't get on mainstream because you're hitting the nerves. So could you just elaborate on whether if people maybe wanted to contact you, maybe to get a CD, or you know, or make some links if you got something in the you know, the pipeline coming?
I don't have a CD or anything out yet, but you know, I'm working on it. In the near future, I will. But this is something that's just in my blood. My brother, Michael Tyson, the boxer, you know, so it's in my blood. It's somewhere in there. So it's just destined. It was just destined to come out.
Wow.
but I am working on things now. But my passion is jewelry. I'm so fascinated with beads and and I charge them myself with my own energy. I have so much energy, I just have to let it out. So I let it out in my poetry and my jewelry, and I let it out on my man. But thank you all for just loving my work and supporting us and But I'll work on something definitely.
Yes. And this is what I wanted to say too for the people that were at the lecture yesterday. I want you to exclusively
out, man, because it's like, I thought Jill Scott was bad, but hey, she ain't got nothing. And I mean nothing. No disrespect to Jill Scott, nothing on you. That's the real poetry at its best.
Thank you.
I've got, okay, let me go to the chat room. Brother Azzaziel, we got a question from Sister Soldier. She asks, could you explain psychic attacks before and during sleep?
Sister Soldier, very good question. And that is a very important question. A psychic attack can take place during the sleep and during the waking state. Most of the time, when you go to sleep at night, if you hear a buzzing sound, a humming sound, if you feel a little bit jittery or you can't sleep, then something's going on. Never sleep, if you have that problem, never sleep with electronics in your bedroom. What happens at night, the root chakra level, which is at below the waist level, you lay down below that waist level. And there's technology being used on a massive level, the wiring in your house and other factors through antennas that open you up. You could protect yourself by first, when you lay down to go to sleep, first one thing you want to do is surround yourself in brown to ground you. And not only will that help to block out some of the radiation and the ELF, but it will also help you to remember your dreams, because your dreams will tell you what's actually going on if you're under a psychic attack. Then there's subliminal natural archetypes that could tell you the same thing, like if you see flies hanging around you, if a bee comes and stings you, or sometimes when an insect stings you, that's a person trying to harm you. That's the warning. That's the archetype. We've lost that. In nature, we knew what that was all about. But you also can use violet. Get yourself back in the days, we had these black lights that we used for the glow-in-the-dark posters. You could actually put a black light bulb in your bedroom, and I also use it to cleanse myself off in a shower. I have a violet light that I use in the shower where I cleanse off my aura, because I'm constantly dealing with a lot of people. So you have to cleanse on a daily basis, because thoughts attach to your auric field and you carry them wherever you may go. And what happens is they sink down through the aura, and those thoughts may become your thoughts. And so what you want to do is protect yourself by using violet. When you lay down to sleep, ground yourself in brown. You can also get a violet light bulb that will keep negative demonic entities out of your bedroom.
Give thanks, brother. Hopefully that answers your question, Sister Soldier. I know you're going on there. I told you, man, Sister Soldier, that's your department, the chat room. No one can look at, you can just take it over. But okay, answers regarding to you. She's also saying, Brother Azzaziel, that she said, I have seen Sex Magic 1 and 2. What areas will you be covering tonight?
I'm going to be dealing a lot with relationships and the connecting to, because I don't know how it is over here in England, but everywhere I've gone where there's black man and black woman, there have been a problem with connections. And then if there is a connection, there have been problems with staying connected. Also, I'm going to be dealing with programming. Some of the things that I believe the female needs to know about what mind control is about, that cause them to do certain things that might turn a man off, and then vice versa. So I'm going to be dealing a lot with things like that, and also with a little bit of the electronic manipulation that's going on in sexuality. But basically, I'll be all over the place with a lot of information and a lot of questions that people may have about orgasms and ejaculations, tantra, and so forth.
Give thanks, brother, give thanks. There's also another question, Sister Soldier again. She says she's drawn by the moon. I personally know this sister, and she's a Cancerian, so she's ruled by the moon, and I've actually done an astrology chart also. Sorry to put you on the spot there, Sister Soldier, but she has a lot of somewhat emotional energy. That connection to the moon is very, very powerful within a chart. So I know her. But she also says that she's very drawn by the moon, and she spends a lot of nights gazing at the moon. Is there anything in that? Could there be any beneficials or pros and cons in that you could suggest?
The moon basically is reflecting the sun. So it's not necessarily the moon that you're gazing at. You're gazing at the sunlight, which is not the sun we see here during the day. That's the sunlight from a central sun. Honestly, I'm going to be honest and I'm going to be raw with you, sister. Nothing should rule you. You should rule yourself. The moon is not a natural, it doesn't spin like all the other planets. It's a satellite.
That's right.
So it has implications in when we're dealing with the occult and dealing with psychology. It represents your subconscious mind. So what I would do, honestly, is I would, when I lay down to go to sleep, I would ask myself the question about the moon over and over until you fall asleep. And your dream, keep a pen and pad by your bed, your nightstand, and because your dream is going to give you the answer, and you're going to write that answer down or write down what the dream said, and you could either email Brother Israel or myself, and he'll get the email to me, and I'll give you, or you can get books on it, what the dream might mean. But never let anything control, and that's the problem women have, is they allow the moon to control their menstrual cycle. And that's an outside body. You control your universe. Don't let anything control you.
Give thanks, give thanks. Also, I think, hopefully it's the last one, come from Sister Soldier again. She says, I also go into trance, which can be quite frightening once I realize what is happening. So could you have any information? Because she seems to obviously go into trance states and come back out, so maybe to kind of get an understanding of what's happening.
If you are purposely inducing the trance, that's okay. But if you just go into a trance like fogging out or spacing out or something, there's two things that could be going on. One is a good thing, which means that your intuitive powers are being activated. One of the states of intuition is, when you go into intuition, means to be able to tell things without actually seeing them, hearing them. You just have a notion or a feeling that something's about to happen, and the cosmic energies tell you about that. That's intuition. You're able to pick up vibrations and frequencies easier. Usually when you're yawning a lot, and you're sitting around and you're bored and you're tearing from the eyes, or you go into trance and things like that, that's your intuition. And so it depends on the situation you're in as far as what's happening. Are you inducing the trance, or is it the trance inducing you? If the trance is inducing you, then what's happening, you're probably moving out of balance. You need to balance yourself at the pineal gland. Meaning that you want to have a balance between the left and the right brain. So sometimes when people get out of balance, that can happen also. You can either space out or trance out. And so there may be, and that's if you're not inducing it yourself.
Give thanks, brother. Got another text here asking Brother Azzaziel, do you know anything about the powerful Catholic Jesuits? And that's coming from Lids, that's 983. So could you elaborate on the Catholic Jesuits?
Well, that question can go into a deep history, long history. The Jesuits were known as also a part of the Inquisition. They were the main attackers of the Moors, were the Inquisitions, and they're the ones who burned the witches at the stake and so forth and so on. So there's a deep history dealing with the Jesuits. The Roman Empire, as I spoke of last night, is a difference between the Roman Empire and the Holy Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire was the Moors, and we showed evidence of that. And if you watch the Pope, when he went to America, they showed the coat of arms of Saint Corbinius, who was one of the original Illuminati of the Holy Roman Empire. So the Inquisition was basically a hit squad of scientists who were tortured, and scientists and doctors, because they had to be doctors to commit those type of tortures that they did. Bone setting and all the type of tortures, the different tortures that they did. You had to be a doctor to know where and how to do these particular tortures. So they just weren't people who just were picked off the street and say, hey, we're going to make this person in the Inquisition, they're going to torture people and make them call them a witch and all like that. No, these people were professionals. Okay, so that's the basic history of without elaborating too far to the Inquisition. Is you can go online or get any books on that.
Give thanks. I hope you guys are taking notes. I'm going to give out the studio number. We're going to be here till probably 10, maybe a bit later. Who knows? Hey, whatever spirit takes us, man. That's how we do it in Genesis. Studio number is 079-3127-6232. 079-3127-6232. And you are tuned into genesisradio.co.uk. If you're just tuning in, you're tuning into Metaphysical Minds, and I am joined here, myself, Israel, by the great brother, master teacher, Azzaziel Bey. And he's in town. He's doing a lecture tonight based on sex magic. I suggest you get your asses down there. You understand? Because real deal science. And we have to start, you know, like the brother said earlier on, everything is within. You understand? And a lot of this information is not, hold on, I think we have a call here. Greetings, what's your name, where are you calling from?
Yeah, King Lion calling.
Okay, greetings King Lion, how you doing?
Greetings Israel, greetings greetings to his beautiful.
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Yeah.
It's a joy to meet you last night at the right. Beautiful lecture, man.
Thank you, brother.
Beautiful. You really enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, enjoy being there, brother.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Firstly, I want you to elaborate on what you spoke about last night in terms of the herbs and what we need to do in terms of cleansing ourselves from the chemical junk that we put into our system that I feel is blocking down the mind and the development of our people. Okay?
Well, yeah.
So keep that one on board. Second question, as melanated people, yeah, do we have the ability to neutralize the EMF frequencies and the Wi-Fi frequencies that have been developed to destroy our DNA?
Yes, you do have the ability. What was that first question, brother?
Okay, and further, how do we activate fully our melanin in order to repel these frequencies?
Okay.
I list off there, yeah?
Yes, well, there are techniques that we're going to be doing in the workshop that's going to help you to understand how to do the balancing exercises and to enhance your melanin. But basically, educate yourself. Education will trigger and activate more of that consciousness that's not only in the melanin, but in your DNA. And so we're under attack from both ends, from the root chakra and the crown chakra, and from all areas. And that's because,
That's above, so below, right?
yes, we're being attacked from all areas, and that's because of who we are and who they understand the prophecies. And so you can, there are many techniques you can use, and maybe all techniques don't work for everybody, so it's on an individual level. I'm going to give you the basic skeleton and you add on. Always take anything that anyone says or does, say even in healing or ritualistically or in any form, you always add your own energy into it. You personalize it because you live in your own personal reality. You don't live in their reality. You live in your own personal. They can only give you the instructions, basic instructions before leaving Earth.
So we just need the keys really to be able to activate that thing basically, right?
Well, we have the keys. You are the key. You are the key.
Okay, but it's the knowing. Because if you got the keys, you don't know how to use the keys. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
it's definitely looking forward to hearing you elaborate on that.
It's more on awareness.
Question, if you could please, because a lot of our people are dying, okay? And because of the chemical overload from these drugs that they take from doctors, yeah, I'm an herbalist and I've been pushing that information trying to save some of these minds. But the doctors have got the mind, and that's the problem.
Well, one thing you must understand, I want to say something here that might shock a lot of people, but you must understand what I'm saying here. No one can kill you unless you spiritually agree to it first.
Okay. I hear that. You kind of work with that still because see what it is. Right here. It's a psychological warfare going on because the people that take the medicines from the doctors, whatever the doctor tells them, they consider the doctor to be law. And they compound that within their system, and they may be self-suicided if that's in terms of spirituality, from the perspective that you're coming from.
Yes, we have.
Because like I say, right now, people are dying like flies. Maybe they you know, take themselves out willy-nilly without even knowing, because obviously, like I say, it's on the spiritual frequency, right?
We must understand, first of all, study death. It's an illusion. All these things are illusions. You cannot die. You can leave the physical realm, yes, but your spirit, you must continue to cleanse your soul. Whatever, if I do something wrong in this physical reality that upsets a lot of souls, I must repeat this or come back here to do the opposite, to heal that, to fix that. And that's a sort of karma. Karma is not something that you do something and you get returned back for that. It's the learning the other side of a lesson. If I was once a slave, then that means that experience, I must know both sides of that experience. I must be a master next, you see. And so, death...
Okay, but I just want to say this. I stand corrected in terms of using the word die because, yeah, you're right. But, you know, when you're in this Western paradigm, sometimes words are attached and you've got to try and divorce yourself from words like that. So I stand corrected most definitely. No, you're right. We don't die. We just move on to another level of existence. My brother, speak love, speak respect, and I'll be there tonight most definitely, yeah?
All right, brother. Thank you.
Well, big up to yourself, big up to your wife as well, brother, man.
Okay, give thanks, King Lion. Yes, give thanks. Brother King Lion there, you know, he has his show here Tuesdays 7 to 9. You know, the knowledge for life. So he deals with our herbs and stuff, and you know, trying to get the people back on health. You know, so you know, big up to yourself there, King Lion. You got the Texans flying in now all of a sudden. Okay. Got another text here. It says, "Good morning, Israel, and to the guest. Loving the show. Very informative. Thank you, Sister Diana." Okay. Blessed, Sister Diana. Wonderful for that. Okay, what we got here? Got a text here. Can we activate our consciousness after the age of 40? Just to slip in there, it's funny, that's for you, but it's fun. My sister, it's her 40th birthday today, and you know, it's funny that you know, that question should be.
Well, answer that, brother. You know the mystery schools. You know the mystery schools. You didn't go to the school until you were 40. So.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm aware of it, I mean, yeah, I mean, even in ancient Kev, you was taken to the mystery schools at age 7. You stayed there for 40 years. So by the time you left, you was in your mid to late 40s. You know, in ancient Chem, as a matter of fact, you was anything under 40, you was considered a child. You understand? But 40 is, you know, also, you know, a lot of you have heard me talk about the numbers and numerology. Very important, as you know. 40 is a number. You know, not, you know, in the objection in numerology, you add up the numbers till you get 1. So 40 is number 4. Really. So when you're dealing with number 4, you're dealing with a foundation base, you know, and our ancient ancestors, the Moors, they knew this. So you're dealing with a base. You've reached the age now where you are now, you should be now valuable. You should have some substance and some value where you are of an assistance to humanity, to the people within your community and with your surroundings. Anything under that is considered a child. You know, you see the old saying, my father always used to tell me, a fool at 40 is a fool forever. because that's the foundational base. And if you ain't got things right by then, you understand, you know, there's certain things that you have to have right, you know, age 21, age 30, these are very important ages, you understand? So 40 definitely marks a time when, yes, you know, things should be put, you know, you should have put the, you know, the 4 cornerstones, you lay your foundation on which you then build on. As far as can someone, you know, you're always in a state of learning. You understand? I've met people, when I go back to Nigeria amongst the priests, amongst the Babalawos back home, you know, I've met men in their 70s, and they've, you know, said to me, look, Israel, I'm still learning. I'm still getting this right. There's still elders who are older than me, and they're showing me sciences and so on and so forth. So you're always in a state of learning. You're never too old to learn. You understand? So let's not forget that. So you could be 100, you understand, and you're still learning, in a state of learning. That's what it's about, you know, getting into that state of consciousness where you continue to learn. But 40 is definitely you know, an age where you know, you're supposed to have set your foundations. When you're age 40, you can't be doing things you were doing when you were 16 or when you was 20 in your late teens. That's you know, that's nonsense. You have to have moved on. You understand? It's like they say, when I was a child, I acted like a child, I prayed like a child. That was the child years. You understand? So when you move, when you're at 40, it's time for you now to do, you know, things of, you know, adult years. So, Brother Azzaziel, would you care to elaborate on that?
No, brother, I think you pretty much covered it. You have any other question, brother?
Give thanks for that. Okay, so give thanks for that text. Hopefully it answered your question. So the answer is yes. Got a question here. Oh, I've got a caller. Okay, we're going to take this live link. Okay then. Greetings, good morning. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good morning, my name is Eric Pearson.
Yes, where you calling from, brother?
Yes, I'm calling from Barking.
Barking?
Yes.
Okay, nice to join the show. Do you have a question for the brother?
Yes, just a general question.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
My question is, how does one establish his purpose or her purpose on this earth, on this planet that we live?
Can you repeat that, brother?
Yeah.
How does a man or a woman able to establish his purpose here on earth? I mean,
His consciousness, you said?
Yes.
How do you...
What you are supposed to do, so by your creation on earth.
Your instructions for the physical world is in your DNA.
Okay.
It's not something, you don't have to read a book to know what you have to do. You don't have to be trained like the slaves were to pick cotton or anything like that. Your instructions were built into your genetics. And so by tapping into your genetics, understanding who you are, and if you're a person that may not know anything about your history, I recommend that you begin to delve into your own history, and it will activate, it will help open up that DNA that has that information. But you carry around you are a Bible. You are a walking book of the information of your various incarnations. There are techniques you could do to remember your past life, and the way you do that is by remembering your death and your birth. And you could do this through your dreams. And this will help you to understand the continuation of what you need to do in this particular reality. Does that help you, brother?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, brother. Thanks a lot for calling.
Yes.
Thank you. Give thanks. Yeah. Yes, bless. Yeah, Brother Azzaziel, I know over the years, as a child, I used to see things. I used to hear things. But the older I got, especially early teenage years and you know, based on, you know, being brought up in certain societies, I kind of, you know, kind of went to sleep, you know, kind of, you know, started doing the things that the average people were doing.
Right.
And I found that I wasn't aware of seeing certain things anymore the way I was seeing them and hearing certain things.
Yeah.
So when I kind of got back on track, you know, when I got into my 20s and I kind of got back on track and I was, you know, started to walk the path, I started to, you know, kind of remember and started to practice certain exercises that were bringing these faculties and these talents out again within me.
Yeah.
But as far as hearing, I don't hear as much as I used to when I was younger. When I was younger, I was hearing a lot more clearer. But what happens, or tends to happen, and based on what somebody's saying in the chat room, I think it's CB, I think Sister Soldier also raised the point that I used to get, you know, the sound that goes, "Ooh," like in the ear. Now, I remember I went to Nigeria because I was initiated into the priesthood, you know, about 5 years ago, somewhat. And when I was over there, I remember I raised it with a priest. I said, you know, because I was getting it a lot when I was out there too. And I was saying to the, you know, priest, I'm getting this woo in my, and he says, oh, he says, you know, your ancestors are trying to, he says, don't worry. He said, you know, try and, you know, focus a bit more, you know, meditate or whatever. And he said, you know, eventually, he goes, you start hearing it clearer. It hasn't, it's got somewhat louder, not so much clearer. But, you know, it's kind of, and it goes on, you know, it kind of goes on a bit more longer. So could you say to the people, because I've come across certain information that, yeah, that clarifies that, yeah, it is ancestral trying to contact, but also a lot of the TVs and based on the frequencies that's flying around within our system, that also moves on that kind of frequency as well. So sometimes you might be hearing it, but really it's coming from like a TV or some satellite, you know, sky dish or something. So could you elaborate on, you know, what that is and how we could kind of attune ourselves a bit more, you know, if it's coming from that ancestral world?
Right. One of the best things you could do to combat mind control is to become aware of it. Once you become aware of it, once I tell you what it is, your DNA, your mind already begins working on it. The mind control no longer works because you know what it is. And so that's one reason for disseminating this particular information. Once you hear it, once I tell you what it is, you now, your own consciousness blocks it out. You can hear buzzing sounds, and it may be attributed to some ancestral information, but I personally doubt it. This may not be true, but I just personally doubt it. Mind control is extremely ancient, and it is so ancient that I believe it's not even from this planet. So you've heard stories about a prophet in the Bible, or this one and this one said he heard a voice to tell him to go do something. And that's what they do. That's what you hear. People, when you see cases of mind control, oh, dog told me to do it, or God told me to do it. You know, and these are transmissions. So this stuff is long before you came into this physical reality. We're just born into it, and we perceive it as our own, as something new, because we haven't, we think it's something new because of our short period of time on this planet. But I would, and so if the ancestors is not speaking clearly to you and telling you exactly what you need to do, then consider it mind control and get rid of it. And you could get rid of it, there are various techniques you could do to get rid of it, but I would recommend that you look at it as a form of mind control, and your awareness of that will begin to block it out.
Give thanks, brother. And even on that note as well, Brother Azzaziel Bey is doing lectures. He's got one today based on Sex Magic Part 3. The place is 160 Page Green Terrace, High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NU. And tomorrow he's also doing a lecture stroke workshop, you could say, based on mind control and deprogramming techniques. So even based on that, I'm pretty sure that there's going to be info and that is, you know, we can utilize and, you know, we can practice that would help us, you know, on our journey based on the information the brother just given us. I got a text here which says, if the Moors done so much for the world, why are we getting such a fight from the powers that be? That's coming from 582.
Yes, that is a very, very interesting question, but today in Sex Magic, when we talk about relationships, you got to understand something. Without friction between the couple, there's no energy. So a female and a male may get together and they may have problems in the relationship. Those problems create this friction that actually creates the energy. Without the friction, there's no energy, there's no movement, there's stagnation. We have work to do. There's work that needs to be done, and the work is cleansing our soul. The European is only a reflection of our negative thoughts. The aspects of their ghosts, demons and entities and reptilians, all those creatures you read and hear about, there's some form, in some way, fashion, or form, demons that we carry around somewhere in our DNA, because we are the creators, we are the god and goddesses that created them. So we're really, when we have a problem with them, we really have a problem with ourselves, the negative aspects of ourselves.
Give thanks, brother. Okay, hopefully that answered your question. Got another text that says, "Greetings, Israel, and to our brother Azariah. Can magnets be used to counteract the low frequencies, and can it help our melanin in any way?" That's coming from 685.
I don't know if I would use magnets to deal with any form of mind control. You could use magnets as far as as far as dealing with the body, as far as pulling in or pulling out some type of sickness or out of the blood or whatever. Just be aware that magnets have polarities. Unless you're using a hematite, I would recommend that you use hematite, because the hematite don't have the polarity of the north and well, the north and south poles of the magnets are good if you're going to use it to project out thoughts, and you put those magnets with a crystal up at the pineal gland and increase the power of your thought. But as far as wearing them and as you know, as for healing and blocking mind control, and I would use the hematite, which will also ground you, would be a better choice. The magnetic hematites will be a better choice.
Give thanks, brother. Hopefully that answers your question. We're here till the hours of 10. You're tuned into Metaphysical Minds, the Real Eminem Show. The time now is 9:39, so we have somewhat but 21 minutes, courtesy of Lady Skills. Give thanks to Lady Skills, and we're going to be out. So keep your texts coming, keep them coming fast, because 10 o'clock on the dot, we're outie. When you gotta go, you gotta go. So, and we're gonna be going. So if you have any texts, any questions, if you need to phone in, the live link is on. Studio number 079-3127-6232. 079-3127-6232. Our brother Azzaziel Bey is doing a lecture tonight, 7 till 10. Address 160. Oh, we got a live link. Okay, bear with me. Greetings. What's your name? Where you calling from, brother or sister?
Greetings,
oh, you again? Welcome.
We're talking about sex magic tonight, yeah?
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of talk about the place about this polygamy thing, yeah?
Okay.
I want to know our brother Azrael's take on polygamy.
Okay.
Is it recommended? Can it work? Can it save the nation? Yeah. What's your view, brother?
Okay. Just before I pass it on to Azariah, you know what my take is, and yes, it can work. But King Lion, yes, it can work, and it will work. Okay, no problem. I'm passing it. He's here.
All right, cool.
All right, brother. Very good question. Something I'm going to deal with tonight, but it's all on an individual basis. Of course, if you're a polygamist and you can afford to take care of your various wives, and they agree upon it, and there's a form of consensual energy going on there, then yes, it's a possibility. And then there's the, you know, females also have, what do you call it for the females? The,
Again, that's all right.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad to be here, especially in England. I was actually feeling very tired and was going to go home and kind of knock out. But then they said the brother with the jazz was going to be here with the music. So I said, let me get my butt on up because I can sleep on the plane. But we want you to call in and try to get some of the questions answered that you may have for us. Call the radio station, support the radio station, and I'm really glad to actually be here. Brother, here you
Yes, thank you.
Oh, okay, hold on.
Sister Majay,
Yes.
greetings.
Greetings.
Welcome. Yes, into the building. Brother Azzaziel, we're most grateful to have your time here.
Okay.
Yes,
Glad
most
to be
definitely.
here.
And King Afro Groove is the man that you're talking about there, standing right next to
King
you.
Afro Groove,
King
okay.
Afro Groove.
The brother had let me listen to one of his CDs in the car, and it fell right in line with the kind of music I'm looking for. And that's one reason why I'm actually glad that I'm here.
It's worth coming, really.
Yeah.
Most definitely, most definitely. I wonder if I could ask, Brother Azzaziel, you've been well received since you've been here in the country.
Oh, I feel at home. This is not my first time in Europe, but it's my first time in London. So I feel at home in Europe for some reason. It has the certain energy in it that resonate with me.
Very good to hear. Family, Genesis family. Yes, London, UK, Britain, and the www.globe. Yeah, the studio number. Yes, phone through. It's a hotline, you know, or text through, text through your questions. It's 07931 276232. Again, 07931 276232. So you can phone through and you can text through. So CW, we have a question already. We're reaching on our calendar, I guess they're second not in 5 minutes.
No, I tell you.
Yeah, I tell you the time's very short, but let's if we can get these questions out to brother.
That's all right.
Okay, so Mike keeps the Now this is from 378. Thanks to this 378. It says, could you please tell us about your Moorish history, i.e. with the Moorish science? And that comes Moorish Science Temple and info taught received. Info taught and received from 378. All right, thanks for that 378.
I'm not sure if she means Moorish science as far as history or today's Moorish science movement as far as the temples are concerned. I am affiliated with, actually I'm not part of their temples, but I do work with the brothers who are part of the Moorish Science Temple. The biggest movement of the Moorish Sovereignty and Science Temple that you might want to connect to, if that's what you are asking a question about, would be in Philadelphia. And it would be a man named Ali Muhammad. They actually have schools, they have houses, living quarters. They're doing the work in Philadelphia as far as the Moorish movement. And I hope that answers your question.
Okay, I hope that answers your question there, 378. All right, this comes from 905. Big up G and CW. I would love to hear about energies, vibrations, how they work, and how we can. Okay, I'll have to finish that off because we've got a live link call coming through. No, it's gone. And how we can. Love to hear about energies, vibrations, how they work, and how we can deflect unwanted energy attacks. Peace and love to all and bless. And that's from 905.
Okay, that's sort of a kind of general question, but I would recommend that you get the workshop, well, not necessarily a workshop, but get the couple of lectures that I've done here in London, and that will pretty much give you a good idea of how the energies work. Now, Sister had, someone gave me a piece of paper for a question about Nikola Tesla, since we're on energy. Nikola Tesla was, of course, thrown out of the New York hotel. He was murdered based on some of the technology he was coming up with, which was we call free energy, and much of that technology is actually either kept secret or used against us, such as the cell phone. You go back to the 1960s, you saw that in the Star Trek films. So a lot of that technology was taken and used against us or hidden, because if you release certain new technology to people too quickly, they go into something called future shock, which was a song made by Curtis Mayfield, where it shocks the brain because people have a hard time adjusting to new ideas and new things. Frequencies measure energy, and we created numbers to measure different energies and how they fluctuate. So I'm not sure what aspect of energy you want to know about, but basically that's how it goes.
Okay, thanks for that breakdown. Yeah, for the person ringing in, if you could like to ring back, because Azzaziel was in mid-flow there, so we couldn't really ask him to stop. If you'd like to ring back, the studio number is 079 312 76232. Alright, see if we can take this live now. Good evening, Genesis.
We can't hear him properly. We can hear you guys properly. We can hear CW. We can't hear him properly.
Yeah, I thought it didn't hear me sound for some reason.
Alright.
Alright. Okay. Alright, thanks to that.
Yes, 1 2 1 mic check 1 2. Sounds a little bit better now.
Sounds a lot, yeah, it sounds a lot better.
So quite high my volume is still. Oh, that's a little bit better, sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Well, this works good.
Okay, I think we got the gremlins in the works tonight, you know. Alright, if I can ask a question, I mean, have you been surprised? Yes, that's alright. Have you been surprised by the level of consciousness of the people over in London that you've met?
Yes, I am actually, and I'm very surprised by the response. You know, a lot of times I do lectures and I may open up for question and answer, and people are like just staring at me in my face. But in London, it seems to me, and I've been quite a number of places doing lectures, that you're probably on the highest frequency as of yet that I've experienced in the lecture circuit.
Okay, that's good. It's good to know that we're up on the knowledge, people. Good to hear that. Alright, let me see if I can get at this message. Turn up the mic. Okay, we've got that one. Alright, just give me just 1 second. Who or what are the people of light? And that is from 829. Did you get the one? That's alright?
What was the question?
It says, let me go back. It says, who or what are the people of light?
Those are the people who are functioning mainly from the crown chakra, and as you gain information, you grow another chakra. Your crown chakra is violet, you grow the silver chakra. People of light are people of knowledge. Knowledge is light, basically.
Okay, excellent. All right. Okay.
If you like to
put a question, as you know, the number is 079 312 76232. Or come live. I'm sure we'd love to get your energies coming live. All right. Now it's interesting what you said. Okay, you're gonna have to excuse us, but okay. Okay, it's interesting what you said recently at your lecture, to say that before you saw the darkness and the truth, that you used to be a preacher.
Yes, yes, I was. Yeah.
Okay, so what happened? What changed you from?
Well, it's kind of a long story. I was a minister, and actually I didn't really get through all of what I wanted to show. I had pictures and wanted to go through that so people would know a little bit about my background.
Okay.
Yes, I graduated from ministry school, became a deacon, became a minister, and went all the way to bishopship. Bishopship. And then once you begin to elevate yourself to a certain level, you find that you either move into another dimension, and so what happened was I began to teach Sunday school and teach about black consciousness as far as history was concerned, and many of the churches didn't really want that going on at the time because the churches are under the 503c law, which says that you can't teach any real consciousness or anything dealing with the book of Revelation.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, let's see if we can take this call, yeah? Yeah, good night, Genesis.
Yeah, greetings, CW, greetings, Israel, greetings.
Yeah, how you say hi?
So the wife, greetings, everybody.
How you know me there?
There's a piece of the message, everyone, yeah? I'm going to take this opportunity to ask a question because I know the line is getting extremely busy, yeah? This is a question for Azzaziel in terms of the Moorish perspective, yeah? I want to know firstly, Azzaziel, did you use a passport when you flew into the country, or did you travel without a passport?
No, I have a passport. I'm not.
Because I know that the Moors, because of their sovereign capacity, actually have the ability to fly without a passport because of our sovereign status.
Well, I'm
So
not.
I'm curious.
Yes, I'm not actually part of any group of Moors, but I work with anyone trying to do something positive to elevate people who are looking for the elevation. You have to be covert. You're not dealing with a person or a human being as we would know it. You're dealing with what I call reptilians or cold-hearted and cold-minded people. And you have to be very, very covert. And so you do what you need to do to make things happen for you. So if I walk around talking about I'm a sovereign Moor at the airport, what the hell do they care about that? They're like you. It's like you talking to an alligator and tell them not to bite you, or a snake don't bite you. So you're dealing with.
So in terms of sovereignty, yeah. So is it worth pursuing sovereignty, which puts you in your proper status?
I would say if you're going to be a sovereign Moor, yes, get the documentation for that, but don't give up the documentation that you have.
Granted.
Okay?
Okay, clear. Big respect, I'll be listening.
All right, then.
One love.
All right. Okay, thanks for the call there, King Lion. All right, can I ask you, Azzaziel? I mean, what is your full name? Is it Azzaziel Bey?
Actually, I don't even really use Azzaziel anymore. I use Azzaziel.
Okay.
Because of the numeric value of it based on my true name, which was Gregory.
Okay.
So I actually use Azzaziel at this point in time.
Okay.
And it's sort of like as you elevate, your vibration changes. And what's funny about that, I researched my real name, which is Gregory, and it came out to Azzaziel.
Okay.
Was one of the ancient terms for that. So it's just amazing how the intuitiveness and the vibration just fell in place.
Excellent. Okay. So the real way to address it as Azzaziel then?
Yes, it
okay.
is, yes.
Okay, no problem. Now, you describe yourself as an occultist, okay?
Yes.
Are there any other things you teach as well?
Oh yes, I teach metaphysics, I teach science, I study psychology. I mean, you know, I have a lifetime of different things that I've gone through. I wanted to go through some of that history. I was in the military and part of the military intelligence with a secret clearance. I think I may have spoke of that before. And learned a lot of things on mind control. I deal with the law. I'm a certified paralegal. I mean, you know, when you get my age, you done been through a whole bunch of shit. So.
Okay, we all many hands. Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Good night, Genesis.
Yo, greetings, CW. Greetings to
Yes, God.
Israel.
Hold up, brother.
This is Cosmoton, yeah? Just a quick question. Can he explain what the Olmec connection is to the Moors, if there is any connection, and if there are connections to the Atlanteans? Can you explain that? Yeah, go on.
Yes, all of that is our history. The Olmecs, if you you could probably just type in Olmec, and the first thing they're going to show you is a big black man head. The first thing they're going to show you on the internet or any book. So we understand that everything, really, anything past, I would say, 4,000 years, and I'm giving a few thousand years here, anything past that, going back in history, was all black. The planet was black. We know the Chinese were black. We know that if you look at go to parts of China where they are still on the walls today, they have prophecies of black people living in Harlem, getting high on 125th Street with smoking joints. This is on the walls in China. So we are very, very ancient people, and pretty much are indigenous to the earth at this point in time.
Yes, we have a caller.
Hello?
Good evening.
Yeah. Who am I speaking to?
You're speaking to Grim Azzaziel Bey in the studio, family.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have a question?
Yeah, the Illuminati, are they people of light? I'm the one that asked the people of light questions.
Yes.
Are they people of light? That's what I want to know.
Yes, the Moors are people of light. The Illuminati the Illuminati means people of light. It means that you are illuminated. It means you're shining. And those were the Moors, and the Moors were known as the first holy.
I'll listen to you off air, yeah, because I'm listening to you from the computer, and there seems to be a time difference. You're saying something different, and my computer saying something different.
I hear that, sis. Give thanks for the
All right.
question. Give thanks.
All right, thank you. Bye.
And so the Moors were the Holy Roman Empire. We are the Illuminati. We are the light bringers to civilization. So, yes, the Illuminati does mean the light bringers.
Yes, that's what I was saying. You touched on you was part of the military. You was in the military.
Yes.
And I remember some information you spoke about a few years ago involving Dr. Alan Yu.
Yes, Dr. Alan Yu.
Yeah.
You could possibly, I'm not exactly sure, you could possibly still get some information on his works on the internet.
It's still around.
It's still around?
It's still around, yes.
Right, he's a Korean doctor who deals a lot in mind control and mind control techniques and mind control deprogramming. And he has a extreme body of work that I recommend that if you want to know what's going on out here, that you read. So some things he say may sound a little out there, like for instance, they have the technology to shrink a person down to a tiny person and fly behind your head and implant you and stick you in the head with some kind of injection. So he's saying that it actually exists, and I have no reason not to believe that.
Well, it's funny you should say that still. It's one of the reasons why I raised it, because what we try to do in here in London is we try to make the information, even when it sounds out there, we try to ground it.
Right.
We try to evidence it.
Good.
We try to make people understand that it's just not 20 or 30 minutes. We're just here having a good time.
Right.
And so that's why I kind of raised that specific type of information, because as you mentioned, they also have patents out.
Have what?
Patents surrounding the research of the work that he done. There's a myriad of different types of patents in terms of mind control machines, the types of machinery that
all
people
types of
actually
stuff
created out there.
Yes, another person you may want to research, which I only recommend for those who've been studying mind control and doing work on it, to read this information, because it's very it could trigger people who might be under mind control, and this is by a man named Springmeyer. Springmeyer has a great, as well as Springmeyer is Walter Board. These two people have a great body of work on mind control, and it's extremely powerful information, and some of the information I gave you today.
So a quick question then surrounding that before we move on.
Yeah.
What are some of the practical things that we can do as people out here who are turning onto that type of information, or turning onto that type of attack, like scalar weaponry, and this type of attack that's going on, that is being developed by the military?
Right.
What are the type of things that we can do as ordinary people to combat this type of science and weaponry?
Well, two things in particular, and one is protect yourself at all times. The other thing is educate yourself. The mind is very powerful. You could control things with the mind. White people only exist because they exist in your mind. So we patronize them. They put us in a position where we have to patronize them, where they'll go out and do 50 shots in the back, and so you have to march. You have to tap into your energies to give energy to that. I'm giving energy to that because I'm going to march, because I'm angry. And you have the right to be angry. But we play into giving him energy and keeping him alive. And so I would say to protect yourself, because there are all kind of energies and entities out here. Understand what's going on as far as with the rituals that they do, because we know that's all our ancient science, and they take it and they're using it against us. So protect yourself and educate yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much, Azzaziel. Studio number, again, the studio number is 07931 276232. Again, 07931 276232. See that?
Yes. No, just to tell, yes, 1212. Okay. That's the mic completely. Okay, you got it. Yeah, just to tell Azzaziel, I should say. Okay, let's get this. Good night, Genesis. Yes, bro. Yes, go ahead, bro. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Lids. I'm calling from
Go ahead then, Lids.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just want to know. I want to know if I just want to hope. I'm just hoping that I'm the only person that's aware of this information.
Okay, I heard the word Jesuit, but I'm not sure what else you said. I just wasn't clear to me. The Knights of Malta, you said.
They're related to the Templar Knights, but they replaced them after the Crucibles.
Yes, the Knights of Malta. Yes, the Knights of Malta.
St. John's Ambulance Service.
Yes, that later on they became the Hospitallers.
Yes, you're right. Yeah,
The Hospitallers is where you get the Red Cross and the ambulance service and all like that. But the Knights of Malta went into Jerusalem. Yeah.
I'm trying to inform my friends. A lot of these are the same people that create the CIA. Like William was a member.
The Vatican. Yeah, the Vatican was one of the groups that helped to create a Holocaust situation toward the Moors, as well as what's known as witches, because witches in England and in America, which was in Boston, really were using African. That's what witches come from witch doctors. It was dealing with African herbalism and African science, and so really that whole attack was really against Moors in general, and later ciphered down to England when the Moors allowed the Jews with the Black Plague. The Jews were very ill, carrying these diseases, and the Moors opened their hearts and their doors to the Jews and began to heal them, because we were the only people that could heal them. And of course, the Vatican, Fernando in Spain didn't like this idea and began to kill the Moors and the Jews and chase them out of Spain. But the Vatican was more against the Templars, because the Templars, we were very rich people.
No, from my understanding is that the Templars were founded to fight against the Muslims in the First Crusade, but the Vatican and the King Philip turned against them, and then the Hospitallers replaced them later on.
No,
to go underground.
The Hospitallers didn't replace the Knights Templars. No, the Knights Templars took to the seas and became what we know known as pirates. And
I've got the research different, because apparently the Vatican created Islam for the purpose of capturing Jerusalem, which is still their goal today, and the plan backfired. And then the Templars became very wealthy in that, and apparently the other monarchs of Europe started to get jealous of them, and so did the Hospitallers. So they conspired to burn them at the stake, and they were later replaced by the Hospitallers. Because apparently the Knights of Malta were originally just a hospital group. Then eventually they adopted the military functions of the Templars. And today they're very powerful, because during World War II you had Sir Stuart Menzies, who was the director of MI6, and they tend to be very involved in banking. Like the Rothschilds are also members as well. Because inside of the Knights of Malta, you've also got other branches such as the Pilgrim Society.
Lids. Yeah, keep your question concise and to the point.
Yeah, but I'm trying to do. I'm wondering, do you have any? I wanted to know if are you aware of any information regarding to the influence that they have today?
The Hospitallers or the Moors?
No, the Vatican in general. Are you aware of the powerful influence that they've got today? That's basically what my point is.
Of course.
Can you give any demonstrations?
Well, I would recommend that you. I did 3 lectures. You get the first lecture, and we talked about the whole situation just recently with the Pope and him coming to New York. So the brother Darren and the other brothers will have that lecture available, I would think, in less than a week.
Okay. Yeah. So you'll be able to get that lecture to break that down for you. Liz, all right? Listen, but thanks for the call, though, Liz. Anyway, yeah. Okay. Peace. All right. Yes. Okay. I mean, got time's running very short. Now, this question I had to write down, brothers. It says, where would you like to take your level of teaching in the occult with our people, and how promising does it look for us as a collective if we are taught to raise our vibrations and use it in the correct way?
Right. Well, we all have our own particular destiny, and we do things in our destiny that when we return, we have to cleanse off our soul, or fix things that we may not have, or we may have caused in a previous incarnation. What I would like to see is people begin to educate themselves and elevate themselves. because it's all for your own benefit. I have to live out my own reality, and everyone here has to live out their own reality and transfix themselves into their own perspective of how things are for them. No one is going to follow you. Well, we all travel together, but no one's going to live out your life for you. So my objective is to educate, because we're all part of a species mind pattern, and the thoughts that you have an effect on me and my DNA in some way or form or fashion. Even when a brother might get shot in the street, or someone who is a Christian, they still have an effect on the species mind pattern. So they have effect on you in some way, in how the world views you.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, just to touch on a few of the things that you said that your lectures have gone past. Yeah. I mean, how do you see the present presidential race between Obama and Hillary? Do you think America will ever elect a black man as president?
Well,
I mean, having a black man in the White House?
They're both on the same side. They're all working together. When you talk about democracy, the word democracy comes from the word demon craft. It's a demonic thing going on. They're all working together. Sure, Obama gives black people a certain pride about themselves, but not of you, of course, because we're on a certain consciousness level. But for the masses of people who are not functioning from the level, and don't get me wrong, there are people that may already know this information and have maybe passed away and reincarnated, and they're here for a whole nother purpose, not for consciousness whatsoever. So there are people who have already been on the path that we're on, and we laugh at them and look at them as someone who is not conscious, and we say, oh, well, he's not on the frequency. Maybe he was 3 lifetimes ago, and he's here for a whole nother purpose. But Obama is part of, they're all related. If you do your research, you'll find out they all are somehow related in the bloodline. That's all. No one else can be in politics unless you're part of that bloodline family. We found out that Colin Powell is related to Bush. This one's related. Hillary is related to Bush. They're all related. Who is Obama related to again? Dick Cheney. So it's a family business, and they're playing chess and using you as pawns. And so again, I'm referring back to the lectures. Go and get that lecture where we talked about triple level chess and how you need to play.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, now it's interesting the comparison you made between Obama and Osama.
Right.
Okay, and you said up until recently, before these elections, no one had actually heard of Obama before, really.
Right. He just appeared out of nowhere. And again, don't get me wrong, the Illuminati knows that when I say Illuminati, I'm not talking about our ancient history, I'm talking about people who are running things now. They understand the energies on the planet. They understand that 2012 has really nothing to do with you, but it has a lot to do with their demise, their end. They're very afraid of the Elijah Muhammad prophecies, and many of the other prophecies they have hidden. They took someone who is named Obama to sound like Osama, and then his name is Ben Hussein, and that is to tie you to Arabs, because you are the original Muslims. You are the original. There was no Arab. Arab means I'm mixed with a white man now. You were black, and I'm gonna mix with a white man and produce a mutt called an Arab, who don't mean you any fucking good. So those are all your enemies, and we know that destruction is coming, because if you don't honor your mother and father, you honor your mother and father, and it create long life unto you. So you have these Jews who are really, the Arabs are the dark-skinned Jews. Understand that. So we have to somehow focus on our thoughts together, because there's no one on our side except us.
Okay, now you said Obama's actually mixed with 6 races, you said?
It could be more. We are told about, I think, 3 or 4. We know that he's from Hawaii, which is a very country. Is it a country? It's an island, I think, or something. Yeah, one of the 50 states or something. Yeah. Right. Sometimes they call it a 50 state, sometimes it's not. Right. Whenever they decide, however they feel. Yeah. But Hawaii is one of the most racist. They don't like niggas over there. No. Okay, number 1. Then that is where you have a lot of volcanic activity, so there's a lot of anger issues going on with the generational spirits. And so they chose his generational spirits to take this black man who has been groomed and prepared to appear at this particular point in time in history, leading up, because whoever's in there now is going to be there to 2012. So him as, if you're looking at him as far as what's going on as being your president, I would highly recommend that you do not. And don't even tie yourself in with Obama, because they're gonna, the people who actually vote on his side, they're counting those. First of all, the voting machines were created in Nazi Germany. And the same lever that you click to vote is the same company that makes the same lever that you click on your toilet bowl. Understand that. So it's all a sham. So they want to see who is a rebel and tie him to terrorism, to Obama bin Hussein. Okay?
Okay. Now, I don't know if you've noticed in your short time in London now, there's a lot of sisters, black sisters, actually mating, going with the Caucasian man, the white man. I mean, what do you think are the implications of that, of we mixing our seed with the white man?
Well, it actually destroys the white race, in actuality. You could love him to death. In all honesty, every time you have a child, you're killing off the cracker. That's what you're actually doing.
So what does that mean for the children that we're bringing forward?
Well, on a relationship level, maybe sometimes I'm not a fan of white-skinned people, but if a person is resonating in that area, and that may be part of their destiny or something they need to do, or even if it's a mistake, they need to find out what the mistake is. So I feel as though I would prefer that a sister would go with a brother, but if that's not her vibration, then...
Okay. So it's more detrimental to the white man than it is
to us, right.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. Now, you said that we're all bisexual by birth?
Yes, you are. When you leave the physical body, you have both male and female energies, and you can incarnate as a male or a female. You choose that. We have all been man and woman at one time. When we talk about the goddess, we're not only talking about the female energy or the female entity that's physical on this planet. We're talking about man and woman, androgynous being, because when you leave the physical realm, you could choose, you have a choice to choose to come back as a man or a woman. And it's known, it's a fact that is known, because we know that in the womb you're androgynous up until a certain particular point in time, and then you choose which sex you want to actually incarnate as.
Okay,
in the womb.
All right, so that if you're a male, you chose to be a male. If you're female, you chose to be a female.
Exactly.
Okay. So how does that play out when you says like the Caucasian man, white man, is 50% reptilian, 50% human?
Well, I'm saying that is the reason why I'm saying that is because of his reptilian nature.
Okay.
He has the nature. We don't have to look at things in a sophisticated way. Let's just break it down to what it is. Nature. You have the energy of nature within you, and you can look at things. We have lost a lot of that, but we need to get back to nature, because nature will give you the answer to everything you need to know. So the nature of the white man, whether he looks like a reptile or not, he is a reptilian.
Okay. All right, gonna have to try and skip through quickly, because time's a good.
Sure.
Okay. Now you touched on it briefly. So what do you make of the hype and all this conspiracy about 2012? Is it gonna be the end times or the conscious shift? I mean.
No. That is all part of a program known as the End Time Program, and they bring this every now and then. They'll bring it out every now and then to get the people prepared for some new thing that's going to happen, some new technology. After Y2K, they came out with all cell phones and all kind of new technologies, flat screens and digital this and digital that. 2012 has nothing to do with black people, except for there was a prophecy to say that the white boy's time is up on the earth. But this is an end time program that is pushed by the New Agers, who are part of this whole conspiracy to, just like the book in the Bible, when you see Christians, That is another end time program. Jesus is going to come soon. And now they've been saying it so much, Jesus ain't come, but they're going to produce a Jesus, and that Jesus might look like Obama. But the 2012, after 2012 is come and gone, they're going to have another one. They had Y2K, and it's just going to go on. It's called end time programming, and people are triggered to do that.
Okay, so it's nothing we should be really concerned about.
Not at all. You are eternal people. Go watch, I would like to reference a cartoon here, because we can do that, because we deal with the intuitive energies. Silver Surfer, it was just released in America on DVD. It was a cartoon that came out in 1995. And in the Silver Surfer, these two entities that are black come up, and one is named Eternity and one is named Infinity, and that's the god and goddesses. Or Eternity and Infinity, and that's who you are.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, now, so people like Jordan Maxwell, Anthony Hilda, David Icke, you know, are there. I mean, what do you make of the information? Are they...
Anthony Hilda is definitely working for the Illuminati, and if you watch the way he dresses in black and red, and that is to invoke sexual energy and fear. Jordan Maxwell is putting out some good information, but he's also talking about how negative the Illuminati is, which Illuminati has nothing to do with white folks. Mm-hmm. It's all dealing with going back to the Bavarian Illuminati, who was the Moors, the Holy Roman Empire, and that's why the Pope wore that coat of arms of Saint Corbinius, which was the black man with the bear on it. You see, so the Illuminati and the 2012 thing and all that stuff. The term Illuminati is becoming very negative based on the way we use it, and I've even used it negatively because that's what we know. But it's actually dealing with enlightened black people who lit up the world with education, who had all these libraries in schools in Salamanca and various libraries in Egypt, and were the educators of the planet, and still are today. The man who created the internet is a man from Africa. The man who created the cell phone was a black man who don't have a penny right now. So we're still the masters.
Okay, let's see if we can take this call. Yes, call. Good evening. Good night. Yes, Kimran.
That's all right.
Yes.
Have you claimed back your straw person?
How can you claim back your straw person?
Your straw man.
You want to claim it back?
Yeah. How would we go?
You mean you got rid of? You mean you've already gotten rid of your straw man, and you want it back?
No, you want to claim it back because it's very valuable to us because of the fact that I think this fictitious straw man was made when we were born via the birth certificate. Mm-hmm. Now that represents a corporation which is worth a lot of money, and if people know how to claim it back, I think it would be a good check.
Well, I'm not really versed in the sovereignty movement, but I will say that it's very easy to reclaim your straw man. Just really start signing papers the way you've always go back and get your Social Security card. It's very easy to get your straw man back. They want that.
Sorry, because we're here in the UK, okay?
Yeah.
The UCC that you would use to protect your interests, okay? There's a document that in states they would file called the UCC filing.
Yes.
Would that be appropriate here for us in the UK?
I'm not
to use.
I'm not very sure about that, brother. You would have to contact the Moors and I don't even know if they would know that. I would really recommend that you do the research and become the man that they can come to find out about that.
Okay. All right, we'll give thanks, yeah?
All right, brother.
All right, peace out.
Okay, thanks for that, King Lion. Okay. All right, okay.
Yes, somewhere. All right, just touching quickly on microchips and implants. I remember you saying on, I think, your Mind Control DVD that every black person born in Harlem has an implant somewhere and they can't come out. Is that true?
I believe that's all over the world, actually. So they've been implanting animals for years, since the 60s. If you go back and watch some of your nature programs, they would try to capture animals and clip something on them so they can locate them. You know, this is the nature of the reptilian. But yes, I do believe that every person born after the 70s or in the 70s on, and I believe even earlier, really, I could actually go back to the 50s and find cases of people who've been implanted. And the implant don't have to be anything that's technologically implanted. It could be a virus, because when you are born and you get a shot in the hospital, those are time-release capsules. Those are time-release viruses that cause you to come down with a particular illness, where you would go to the hospital and then get implanted. So just by women taking their children, having their birth in the hospital, you're already asking for trouble there.
Okay. Now, I'm sure you said that George Bush, he hasn't got a navel or something like that?
Right.
So
George Bush is part. George Bush is not a clone or alien. What happened was he's what they call a I can't remember the name of it right now. If I think of it before we go, I'll mention it. But he was produced as part of a ritual. Oh yes, we did speak about it today. How you have a dormant germ, or women have a dormant germ within the womb, and they're able to tap into that germ to produce a virgin child. The child not necessarily have to have an umbilical cord, because they're fed through an intravenous needle in the belly during the particular ritual. So, and these are the only kind of people they put into power that they could completely control, that they produce themselves, and they don't have the emotions. They're very reptilian-like. There's even, if you go to YouTube and type in George Bush reptilian, you'll see how his eyes thin out because of the reptilian genetics. You'll see how he shifts just slightly. Same thing with Gore and many others.
Okay, yeah, so let's take this call. Yeah, good night, Genesis.
Hello.
Yes, sis. So what's your name?
Am I live on air?
You're live. Fill your pulse.
Okay. I've got a question. Can I ask my question then?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. You know his name Azzaziel?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I know it's the name of an angel. Is there any significance to you choosing that name?
Yes, it vibrated with the name that
I'm going to go off air because of the computer, the time difference. Take care. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for the call.
Yes, my real name is Gregory, and Azzaziel has the same exact numerical value. Also, you know, when you take on a name like that, it probably ties into the vibration of the same Azzaziel in the Book of Enoch.
Okay. All right, so very short and sweet there. For listeners not knowing how to use their Violet Flame in Azzaziel, I mean, how can they tap into this energy to use it as a defense mechanism?
Well, it's very, very simple. We have actually lost our ability to do a lot of things, and the way things have been going in physical reality with the television. You know, our children sit down at an early age and watch television all day and go to the movies, so they're visualizing for you, and so we lose that. And so what you need to do is turn off the TV sometime and get into the visualize. Go find out what violet looks like, and get that violet cloth and remember it. Look at it, stare at it, and when you begin to stare at it, then start to visualize it. The more and more you practice this, the stronger the pineal gets, and the more powerful it becomes.
Okay. All right. These questions are all over the place here. What's your spin on the Khalid Muhammad and Johnny Cochran? I mean, were they murdered?
Yeah, they were definitely both murdered. I think it's Dr. Alan Hugh is the one who talked about Johnny Cochran being murdered via a induced brain hemorrhage. You can look at a lecture I did called Hyperspace. We'll break that down. And of course, I had a long conversation about Khalid Muhammad with a person named Al Bielek, who worked at the Montauk Project, in the who was a time traveler supposedly, who was on the ship out at the Philadelphia Experiment. He was on the actual ship, and he told me that they hit, because Khalid Muhammad wasn't knowledgeable with the technology that was going on. He didn't protect himself. He's still walking around with a bulletproof vest, thinking they was going to sniper him like they did in the old days with King. And they and for some reason, when I used to hang out with Khalid, well, not necessarily hang out, but we used to talk a lot on the street, and I used to look at his head, and I used to say, wow, he's got all that protected except his head, you know. And I used to think about that, and so he really wasn't versed on the new technologies that were out there. And he went down to Atlanta, Georgia, which I think he was drawn down there by a man named the Conscious Rasta, who out of LA, who I think worked with Anthony Hilda and other people to set him up. And he.
Okay, so you think Conscious Rasta is?
Yes, I really believe that Conscious Rasta is the agent, because when he came to New York, he looked for me, and he wanted me to hook him up with Khalid Muhammad, and I was like, "What the hell? You need me to hook you up with? Who the hell are you?" You know.
Okay.
But you know, I'm easy. But I wasn't going to do that. But you know, I let him know. Well, Khalid Muhammad's where he is, out there and doing his thing, and all these brothers around here know him too. So I just didn't like the vibration that was going on, and he was actually there when Khalid Muhammad got shot in California. So the evidence begins to pile up, and it seems as though he's doing a good work. I'm not really sure. And his first thing that he did when he came out was talk about rappers, how negative and how fucked up they were, just getting down on the youth that way, and I just didn't like that either. But
that was called Rap Hip Hop and the New World Order. Yeah.
So he did a few. He's upset at me because he told me things. We're driving along, he's sitting next to me, he's telling me, yeah, this, that, and the other, and I just didn't like the vibe of it. It just didn't vibe with me. My queen was with me as a witness.
Okay. He's actually been there, to be honest, to tell you the truth. He's visited
yeah.
Genesis, talking about AIDS. He talks a lot about the hoax scene.
Right. I mean, you know, maybe I'm wrong, but and you know, something just doesn't sit right with me with that guy. But Khalid Muhammad just didn't have that kind of, wanted to hear that kind of information, and I'm sorry to hurt some people's feelings. I kind of think Khalid was programmed too, because he used to just walk like a robot back and forth past us, and it just was kind of funny to me. It just wasn't, you know. He, you know, I mean, I still love the brother. I loved what he was saying and all that, but you know, when like Nat Turner heard all these voices and still went to kill all these white folks, I liked that part, but I didn't like the voice part.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So Al Bielek, a white boy who was a time traveler, told me that they hit him with cell phone towers in the head and induced his illness.
Okay. All right, so that clears up some of the mystery then, really. Yeah, I think we got roughly about 10 minutes left. Okay, it's really hours gone past quickly. Just to touch quickly on televisions, you know, most of us have TVs in our house. You said that we should cover them with mud cloths.
Mud cloth is a very strong, thick African cloth, and you get a stapler and staple some aluminum foil on one side of it and cover your TV.
Okay. And you said what, plasma TVs are
Plasma TVs have something to do, affiliation with your blood.
Okay.
That's why they're called plasma.
Okay, so we've got to be careful about having those type of things.
You want to be careful about all electronics in this day and time. All electronics is emitting some kind of mind control, some kind of way.
Okay.
So just protect yourself, that's all.
Alright, I think we've got a call coming through. Yes, good night, Genesis.
Yeah, King again. Listen, Azzaziel, you just said something that made my ears prick up, man. And I had to call you, brother, man. You're talking about the Conscious Rasta, and I have to say, I got to concur with you, man.
Well,
I had an experience where I know the brothers talk about AIDS, and you know, we got a remedy called Sutherland, which is a local remedy, which is helping people with AIDS, and this is a documentary that shows on BBC. I've got the stuff, and I've hit the brother up and I said, yo, we got this stuff, and it can save lives, and digital champion AIDS and stuff, man, you know. Let's get the work done and save some lives. And the brother, he was all excited and stuff, and yeah, man, send the info, man, send the info. And I'm sending the info, and it's like, I ain't heard shit from him since. And I've had him to be calling him and sending him emails and shit, and I'm saying, well, what's up with this brother, man? So when I heard you say what you're saying, I'm just thinking, well, damn, there it is.
Yeah, he also did a lecture with Anthony Hilda together. I mean, I really hate to put out information like that as far as talking about another brother and cause any animosity. But what I'm saying is the brother asked me a question, and that's just my own personal feelings. That don't have to be true. So
you see, it's truth time now, you know what I'm saying? And let the truth be known, because, you know what I mean, like I said, when I heard what you're saying, I've been holding this down the car, you know, I couldn't believe that what I was picking up. But if a man says that he's championing the cause of AIDS, which is taking our people out by the millions, then if somebody shows you, say, yo, boom, here's some stuff, here's a CD, here's some leaflet, here's some information, go check the shit out, then why won't you get back to the man that's, you know, representing and You know, because my thing is all about medicine. My thing is about saving lives, man. So
All I know, brother, is he appeared looking for Khalid Muhammad, and when Khalid Muhammad died, he disappeared. That's what I know.
All right, okay.
All right, well, that's love anyway. Give thanks for that experience, a revelation, man.
All right,
Peace
brother.
and love.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for that again, Lion. All right, okay, we've got 10 minutes left. My mic's going.
Okay.
All right, I know we've got quite a few questions in the chat room, but for some reason, I don't, can we see
How much time we got, brother?
Yeah. 7 minutes.
I want to have my queen have a chance to do some more poetry. A lot of people asking her to do some more poetry, so if I can get her for about a minute or so to do.
Okay, good. Yeah, let's do some of that now, then.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Greetings. This is something that I wrote today just for the show.
Okay.
This is my first time doing this. Okay. The beauty of sex. Butt naked in the dark. Profound darkness. The sweet smell of sweat. The friction on top of friction. The positive plunging power of a pounding penis. The grunts. The purrs. Sex just puts your mind in a psychedelic swirl. You have become a goddess woman, no longer that inexperienced young girl. That sensational penetration, diminishing thoughts of masturbation, my emotions evolve like fire, raising my kundalini higher and higher. Damn that Azzaziel. Like it is written, you can't get enough of that funky stuff. The sweet smell of it, the taste of it, the feel of it, the gentle way of it, the roughness of it when you rock it, symbolic of a plug fitting into a socket. It's just that magical flow, as above, so below. This kind of shit makes a witch want to scream, grit her teeth, pound her fist, and move her hips like a dancing machine. Our bodies arched, our bodies strong. My body is equipped to take my king all night long. Ah, the beauty of sex, but naked in the dark, profound darkness, like icing on a cake. There's nothing sweeter than a creamy ejaculate all over my motherfucking face.
Whoa! What? Good thing this is nighttime radio. The after hour radio.
So funny.
Well, all right. Good thing we're on after hour radio there. Yeah. But that was wonderful. I like that one.
Thank you, sugar.
Okay, well, we definitely know what you've been getting up to as well.
I helped him with that poem.
No, he helped me with my clear skin.
Okay, all right. That's some practical help.
All right.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right. So, sis, let's just quickly read out some text messages. I don't know if Israel, did you say any questions?
Yeah, I got one question here. It says, Azariah, you talked about sex magic last night and how that energy is used to invoke various things, but I missed you. Can you please explain, as Nubians, how we can use this to create what we need? Tell us about the practices, positions, and types of thoughts and words to use, please.
Wow, I don't think I have enough time for all that. Yeah. Sister, you can run by the store. I know the brother may have the address to get the sex magic. 1, 2, 3, and 4, I think it is. And you can study those. But yes, you can at the point of orgasm, sex shouldn't be just haphazard. You should have a goal in mind, a thought in mind that you can produce something physical on this realm. But I recommend you get those tapes.
All right. Yes, Genesis.
Yes, Genesis, good night.
Hello?
Yes, sis. What's your name, sis?
Yeah, hello. I'd like to ask Azzaziel, yeah?
Say that again?
What do you think about Malachi that you...
What do you think of Malachi's?
Me or just me or someone else?
No, you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thanks for that. Yeah, your opinion.
Yes, I believe that is a great work that he did by taking people and educating them, giving them the high science, the high knowledge. Otherwise, those same people might have went to church or be in church or looking or in jail or whatever. But his destiny was fulfilled. Whether he was under mind control, whether or not they're going to use him as a future Jim Jones type thing or whatever they're going to do, the work that he put in already, I thought was a great work. I mean, anytime you get a black man building fucking pyramids and walking like fucking Egyptians down the street, I'm like, yo, this thing got something going on.
Yeah, but don't you think it's like they always find ways to bring down influential black people for us? I mean, even with Wesley Snipes, yeah, what happened to Wesley Snipes?
Yeah, Wesley Snipes, I'm hearing different information about him, but as far as I know, they had to let him go because he was dealing with the sovereignty thing and he was winning, and they had to shut that down and had to stop the information and lie about it, say he's going to jail or whatever, and all this kind of stuff. As far as I know, what Paul Mooney had told me, that they let him go. But I really believe that Dr. York did a great work. Don't fuck with him now because you done been to jail. They implant you, they do all kind of shit to you after you don't know what's coming out of jail, just like Malcolm's son. Even with Wesley Snipes, yeah, they're doing great work, I believe.
Yeah, but they're doing some bad things to Dr. York in prison, sorry.
They probably are, but these are the things we sacrifice. It's the whole Christ story. We give up things when we sacrifice for our species mind pattern.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if we can get some of these text messages coming in.
Yeah, 681, somebody asking, what is Nibiru? That's right.
From what I know about Nibiru, it is an energy that is within, attributed to a planet without. Nibiru is basically, for me, is the awakening of the pineal gland. But there are documents that saying that it's a real planet called Planet X, the unknown, Marduk, and various other terms, and it's supposed to have, again, some kind of end-time prophecy thing tied to it.
Okay, one more call. We're coming up to the top of the hour. Afro Bruce. Afro, you might have to give over 5-10 minutes extra of your time. You never want to be your time, isn't it? Family, your truth. Genesis, state your question briefly.
Good evening, sorry about that. Good evening.
Good evening.
The question is to Azzaziel. He said to
Yes,
protect
brother.
himself because of the war that's going on. He said, I'd like to know how he protected himself from David from South London, yeah?
What did you say?
Thanks, David. David from South London is asking. You were speaking before about when we were speaking about the weaponry. You were saying to how you must protect yourself. He's saying how.
How to protect yourself?
Asking a question.
You would surround yourself in violet. You could surround yourself in violet, and that will help protect you. If you have trouble visualizing, and you're going to be around a lot of people, there might be some problems. What you want to do is wear white. Wear white. It's very, very hard for program sleepers to break the programming and attack something that's white. If you're dealing with demonic entities, I would recommend that you begin to visualize. Begin to learn how to visualize and deal with white. Deal with violet. White is just as strong as violet. But the white, for people who can't visualize violet, I would recommend you wear white when you're going in a certain situation that you believe might be dangerous.
Okay. Thanks, Azzaziel. My sister's asking here, 378. She said, it's a question based on the sister question about light. She was speaking about light earlier. The question is earlier. Could you please speak about triple darkness? 378.
Well, triple dark. Well, I would actually recommend something by Bobby. Bobby gets more into the triple darkness area.
That's Bobby Henry.
Right, but in my summation, it would be the left and right brain and the pineal gland.
Okay, thanks for the answer. We're coming to the top now, top of the hour. I think we can maybe take one or two more calls, Afro. We'll take Friday.
Are you going to be playing jazz, brother?
Yeah. That's right.
I'm hanging out over here. Playing jazz.
So family, studio number 07931 276-232. Yeah, now 5 and 10 minutes. Yeah, in the studio with Azzaziel. So you can put your questions, any questions in the chat room coming through. You know, we're here with our family, we're relaxing. You know, Azzaziel finished for the day. Yeah, we're just gonna hear kickback. So put your questions through, family. Put your questions through, we'll take them. Yeah,
Can I say one?
Yes.
Organ energy.
Okay, you want to know about organic energy?
Please, yes.
Yes, organ energy was rediscovered by Wilhelm Reich I believe in the 40s. So it may have been is it the 40s? No, I think in the 30s. Which is an ancient Egyptian science that they used in the Great Pyramids. He discovered that orgasm, his research began with the human body, with the orgasm. And he found out the power of the orgasm, which we went through yesterday in Sex Magic, and understood that the orgasm is part of nature. Everything in nature has orgasms. That's how it reproduces. And he understood that things based on negative or DOR, deadly organ radiation, get stagnated and stuck in the body. If you see a plant or a tree or anything in nature that is not flourishing, it's due to negative organ radiation. If you have a house and you have a dead tree in front of the house, you're being hit with DOR. And so what happens is you need to somehow either build yourself an organ device or tap into because the organ, what it does is it get rid of negative energy. It's attracted to itself, whether it's DOR or POR. POR being positive organ radiation, DOR being deadly organ radiation. If you have an organ accumulator, it sucks in the DOR and cleanses it. And I build these organ accumulators, and you can contact the brother Darren through his email if you want to order them. Basically, what it does is it takes what I do is I take organic material and inorganic material and merge it together with copper and crystals and other types of metals that, when put together, create this POR or positive organ radiation. And we build it in pyramids because we know that pyramids projects things up. And we also use magnets and crystals because crystals will clean the energy out. And we clean out crystals before we use them. And you can clean your crystals by using laser technology. So organ energy is original energy. It's organic energy, just like you go get organic food. You go get organic food because it has positive organic or organ energy in it. When you have an orgasm, that's all organ energy. It's a creative force. If you have DOR in your body, you will not be able to create a child. When you have sex with a woman and ejaculate in her, you will have a non-entity or a dead fetus or whatever. That's DOR. When you have a healthy baby, that's POR.
Okay. You're saying that if a woman goes with lots of different men, she'll get those thoughts, patterns from those men?
When I say that, I'm talking about a woman who will have sex with a man today and then have sex with another man today, go to a bar and hang out and have sex with another man the next day. Their thoughts become scattered because you take on the germ, not only the germ, but the man's semen has his thoughts in it. And especially if he's not focused on one particular thing, then all kinds of fucking thoughts come up in there and they go inside your vagina. If he ejaculates on the face or in the mouth, she ingests his thoughts and she becomes scattered in her thinking, and all the things she do are based on someone else's thoughts.
Okay, right, Steve. Now you say there's different levels of frequency that affect our chakras?
Yes, each chakra vibrates on a different frequency. Basically, the whole body vibrates. I don't on hand know exactly all the frequencies, but I have them written down. But the human body vibrates at 52, I think, 0.7 hertz in the Hertzian field, which is slightly more on the lower level type energies dealing with ELF. If your vibration in the body goes below, say, somewhere in the 40s, you pretty much get very ill. When you have a cold or a flu or a fever, you're not vibrating at a 52.7 hertz.
Okay.
I think we've grown as Azzaziel enough tonight, to be honest, you know what I mean?
All right, glad to be here though, brother.
Okay,
Thank you.
it's been a pleasure
To have you. I don't know if Grim's on to say.
I think it's probably a time. It's time for wrap up this thing.
Make Afro Groove come and do his thing. Still.
All right, brother.
Yeah, no, I'd like to thank you for coming. I'm sure we could be speaking here for all night long for cut this short.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've been quite busy over the time. So we're just really grateful to have your presence here. So,
definitely.
And I want to thank the folks from England, and I want to thank all you've been.
Yes.
You made it feel like home. And like I said before, the brother Israel came, picked us up, the car broke down, I felt like home. Back in the days. I thank you because when I go out, it's spray in the skies just like New York, felt just like home.
Yep.
So, thank you. And then brother Darren opened up his home to us, so that is a marvelous thing, a marvelous work that he's done, and God gonna bless you, brother.
Oh yeah. That's right.
In this lifetime, in this lifetime.
In this lifetime.
Absolutely.
I'm the next.
So, Jay, thank you for
Oh, you're
coming.
welcome.
So,
we're glad to have your presence. Yeah.
Give
Part of
thanks.
poetry, sister. I know some people have some.
Yeah, I think we had one thing come say talking about I don't know about the taste of that. So,
This is difference. This is Genesis, and sometimes it's not straightforward. You have to think about what's being said. If you don't know, ask. Yeah. Darren, thank you for opening up your
home to a lot of
words come true still. Yeah, because we are all receive the benefits of that.
Yeah.
So
Thank
big
you.
up yourself, soldier, and give thanks.
And all the people in the chat room, all our family, all the Genesis family, London, local, UK, Britain,
Yes,
and around the globe.
You know,
this is the Cosmic
Warrior Information Show meets G-Cup meets Azzaziel Bey. Fraternity, and we're very grateful. Big up, sir, brother Israel. You know, we're a family. Yeah.
Okay, and hopefully you're going to come and visit us again, Azzaziel, yes?
Sure enough. Very soon, yeah.
No, very much appreciate you giving up your time. I know you must be very tired, and you need to get some rest before you travel again tomorrow, and you're back on it again anyway, yes. But I tell you, as you're driving home tonight, you're going to love listening to Afro Grooves tonight.
Oh, yeah.
To play jazz music.
Yes.
Okay, big shout to Afro Grooves. Taking 10